I think it's really just education. Like we say this very often, but it is education. A lot of the times when we engage with these politicians, some of them have no understanding of Bitcoin, and you have to start from literally zero. And you need people going there and being Bitcoin ambassadors and helping to educate. So in Indonesia, there's a friend of mine, Bobby, Robert.
Oh, okay.
And he's running Benthouse, and he's been doing a lot of great work there. He's that partner that's helping them set up their mining operation. And he's also doing educational work as well. But it's just up to us to go there and support these grassroots initiatives as well. Like there's a Bali Indonesian conference, Bitcoin conference that's going on in October, and you're invited. But these things are going to help accelerate that understanding of Bitcoin, because you're going to have local people going to meet Bitcoiners, listen to them talk about Bitcoin, get orange pilled. And that's really the only way. It's just proof of work. There's no easy solution to get 1 million people, or in the case of Indonesia, 270 million people ramped up overnight.
Right.
It's going to be a lot of work and a lot of people talking about Bitcoin to them 24/7.
Right. Is the what is money question, is that instrumental in your orange pilling of these individuals?
I think it is. I mean, it really comes down to changing their thinking about Bitcoin. There's just so much misinformation and FUD in the media that it's difficult to combat that. It's easier to just say Bitcoin is money, right? Sailor likes to say Bitcoin is commodity, but I like to go even simpler. Bitcoin is just money. And that generally gets them understanding faster, because it's whatever you want it to be. Bitcoin is just information, really.
Yeah.
It's just we happen to use information as money, or use a commodity as money.
Right. That's very interesting. Are they drawing examples or inspiration from El Salvador? Because the first time I had heard of volcano mining was post El Salvador. Is that a model that they're emulating or in any way drawing lessons from?
I think they're definitely looking at El Salvador. Like all eyes are watching and seeing how they're developing. So success in El Salvador is good for Bitcoin. And I think all the work that people have been doing there, you know, the Bitfinex guys and Max and Stacy, that's great. You know, keep that running, because that is a beacon that we can point to, and we can look at El Salvador and see what they're doing, right? It's also critical because with Bitcoin as legal tender in El Salvador, it opens the door for other things we can do with other countries, right? Guatemala can adopt Bitcoin in an instant because they have a law that allows the use of foreign currencies. And Bitcoin is a foreign currency. So El Salvador is very important in the grand scheme of things, but we do need more countries to adopt it. So the head of operations at Jan3, Doogie, he likes to say El Salvador is a beachhead. We have a small foothold, and we need more of these because, as you know, the powers that be want to roll out CBDCs.
Of course.
We have to fight and counter that with Bitcoin. That's the only counter.
That's a great point. Yeah, so Bitcoin Beach is our beach head then.
Literally.
What I imagine you would be targeting then energy-rich countries for this, for the orange pilling, since they stand to gain so much.
I would say so. I mean, there are also groups in all over the world. There's a group in the Philippines too, and the Philippines is also very high for geothermal potential. But it's interesting to see because a lot of countries that have been poor for a very long time, or have low per capita income, they're actually very rich in terms of energy. But before Bitcoin, what can you do? Oil is great. You put oil in a barrel, you ship it anywhere in the world. But with geothermal and hydro, Bitcoin is a godsend.
Yeah.
Because now you're a rich nation. You can be Saudi Arabia or the Emirates. And in those countries, they don't tax you, right? You're not taxed in the UAE.
Right.
You get paid to be an Emirati. And that's another thing I tell the politicians too, because most of them are looking for ways to increase tax revenue. But what if we pause for a second and rethink things? Why do you want the tax money? Obviously, you have public infrastructure you want to build. You need to finance the government, the military, whatever. You need the money. But what if you didn't need to try to extract that from the people? What if you set up a mining operation and you're just mining the Bitcoin and financing an entire country. And I think that's also a light bulb moment where they start to think maybe there's another way, because taxation has kind of run out of control. It's spiraling way, way out of control. Every single thing you're doing is being taxed. And then you have the hidden tax of inflation. So this can't continue, and this is contributing to the downfall of the world.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin fixes that.
Wow. So wow, that's interesting. So Bitcoin can offer a totally new model for a nation state to finance itself. It can then radically lower taxation, a la UAE, as you described. And then that draws in foreign direct investment, talent, etc.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting take. What are there other things besides being energy rich? Are there other things you're looking for in countries that you would try to target? Is it a certain disposition towards technology, or perhaps a certain form of government that maybe lends itself better to the orange pilling versus not?
Well, I mean, we're agnostic, and we try not to be too political. We want to engage with whoever is interested in Bitcoin. We don't want to be known as, allies of strong supporters of any one particular country, and we just do that one. We want to be accessible as a resource to talk about Bitcoin, and nothing that we know is unique. Like, this is all information on the internet. We just make an effort to package it up and deliver it in a digestible format, and we're happy to answer questions.